Assalamualaikum dan sejahtera. This is Business Professional Ethics Group Presentation for Case Study. We are studying from UDE19 Section 3. Our group member consists of a total of 6, which are Chayating UDE190163, Li Tianfu UDE190173, Muhammad Alif UDE190182, Philip O. Entai UDE190211, Vidya Malini UDE 190224 and Kwek Sun Wen UDE 190246.
Good day, Content. I'm Vidya Malini, UDE 190224 from Section 3. I'll be introducing our case study 2. Being a good and responsible employee, it is important and crucial to their own job. There are some responsibilities that every employee needs to have when they are hired by a company. As a good employee, one must be proactive, have a positive attitude, communicate well, perform their best ability, stay disciplined, and can strive for diligence. One should also be flexible, improvise competency, and able to adapt with the circumstances as an employee. The most important aspect is that the employee must have high integrity, effective problem-solving skills, and enable us to think outside of the box in finding a solution. Integrity is defined as doing the right thing even when no one is watching, and a company which has a strong integrity can attract more customers. We live in a complex world, especially in a big company that has superiors and many employees that come from different race and religion. We need to be tolerated and have good social skill in maintaining the company's image, besides helping to increase the profit or income of the company. Every decision that we make and take can affect our relationship with others' health, safety, economy, and rights as a human. However, some of these decisions had made to the worst of reasons. According to the employee's free speech right, whistleblowing can be defined as an act which freedom of speech, anti-corruption tools, and internal management dispute mechanisms. Furthermore, whistleblowing can be described as a man or woman's action as he or she believes that the public interest overrides the interest of the organization they serve, but whistles that the organization is involved in corruption, illegalities, fraudulences, or any harmful activities. There might be some risks occur while whistleblowing in the workplace. However, as an employee, one must be careful in considering the pros and cons of whistleblowing before taking any actions to avoid them from losing their job or any unnecessary punishments. Perhaps the biggest advantage of becoming a whistleblower is being able to know that you have made the right choice and right thing in maintaining the company's image before it goes to serious issues. In other hands, there are possibilities for a whistleblower to lose his or her job, suspension, and downgrade from the current position of being transferred. Being labeled as a whistleblower could decrease the chance of being hired at new companies in future. In conclusion, the main responsibility as an employer is to make sure that the workplace is safe and that anyone is working or visiting the workplace is not exposed to hazards or harmed by the work, while the employee is always as the employee must always follow employees' instruction on safety and health and cooperate with the employer when they require something to be done for safety and health at workplace.
Question 1. Consider the different stakeholders who are going to be affected by joint decisions and discuss the competing interests of each of the different stakeholder groups.
To answer the question 1, a stakeholder is any group or individual that might influence or be affected by the achievement of the organization's goals. Meanwhile, the stakeholder model helps to provide framework to identify the implications of John's decision. Various groups are affected by the ethical decision include owners, employees, customers, shareholders, community, environmentalists, government, suppliers, media, regulators, and others. Although John may feel compelled to remain silent in short term to protect his work and employer, the long-term impact of the decision may have a greater harmful impact on the environment and, in turn, shareholders, employees, and customers. Thus, John's decision severely impacts his company since the issue was left untreated. For example, John might either direct the company to a greater embarrassment in the society for leaving nasty environment untreated. Probably John's company would face severe legal actions for this issue. Moreover, John might also feel guilty later if the company really faces any legal actions. John should also be considerate about his colleagues. The innocent employees might lose their job if the company faces legal actions. Therefore, John should be concerned about his colleagues before making a decision. Following ethics, John should file a complaint to the authorities if his company won't take any actions upon the issue and try to be selfish, because this would affect other innocent people who are not involved with this issue. Therefore, John's decision is very important to prevent his company and colleagues from any loss. So that's all for my part. Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Question 2. Should John go directly to his supervisor and speak to him in person? Should he write an anonymous letter to the CEO and president of the hotel? Should he ignore the problem and let someone else figure it out and deal with it? What are the pros and cons of different alternatives he can take? Assalamualaikum dan sejahtera. I'm chanting UDE 190163. According to the situation above, there are different perspectives and each method ultimately has its advantage and disadvantage. Furthermore, there are three approaches which John can take as well as he has to face the pros and cons of different alternatives. First and foremost, the first perspective is John go directly to his supervisor and speak to him in person. This action show consists of its pros and cons. The advantage of this approach, which going directly to his supervisor, is he can confront the problem head on and stop further damage to the river. The supervisor can get a resolution plan to resolve the problem of serious environmental violations. For example, the company can make a report to the government to summarize the serious problems of environmental violation, as well as the government can set up the wastewater and sewer treatment to survive the river and environment. Meanwhile, the company also can provide a fund for this program. In addition, as an ethical employee of national people, John has done his social and legal obligation on one hand, and his loyalty to his company and co-workers. However, there also has its disadvantage, which is he has to face a serious problem of losing his job, and linked with another problem, which is John may not have the ability to pay his college tuition fees. To conclude, John is an ethical employee and national people. As an ethical employee, he provides the company with good work and his best efforts to make the company better in future. He also fulfills a duty of loyalty and his efforts, his primary obligation as an employee towards the company. In other words, he renders loyal and faithful service to his employer and company to act with good faith, and he does not act in a way that benefits himself. I may pass to Kwak Soon Woon to continue. Thank you very much.
Hello sir, my name is Kwak Soon Woon. My metric number is UDE190246. Now I will continue to present question 2. For our opinion, we recommend 3 ways to John to solve this problem. Therefore, I will continue to present the another 2 ways to solve his problem. The another perspective is John should not go to speak to his supervisor in person and continue to hold his own position. This is because John does not easily get a job in a hotel, and this job provides more benefit towards John. For example, John gets good relationship with his colleagues and supervisor, and the salary has been increased due to his performance. Therefore, he should stick to his post all the time, which is responsible for reservation, customer service, and training new employees for the job areas. The last perspective is John can write an anonymous letter to the CEO and president of the hotel to review this problem and solve it. However, this issue is very important and needs to be settled by the company. Therefore, the CEO and the president of the hotel need to inform this problem to the bottom organization of the company, such as the supervisor, to solve it. This is because this problem will affect the company brand and reputation for a long time. In this way, the advantages is John can swiftly express his opinions and solution to the problems. However, disadvantage for this way is if John writes an announcement later to the CEO and the president of the hotel, but they did not take this method seriously. Therefore, John needs to apply the regulation of the environment in an anonymous letter to make the CEO and the president of the hotel feel scared in this situation. This action shows John as an ethical employee and perform a moral person. Now I will pass to Philip to continue his part. Thank you.
Question 3. Describe the risks associated with being a whistleblower and the ethical obligation employee and individual must consider when confronted with an obvious ethical violations on the job.
Hi, I'm Philip and my battery number is UDE190211. So there are two risks that I'm gonna explain that is associated with it being a whistleblower of a serious issue that led by a company itself. So one of the most concerned risks of being a whistleblower being a company's employees is that he or she may fear of losing his job from the company. A whistleblower may help to overcome an unethical issue, but on the other hand, his job would be at risk if an employer fires him due to allegedly ruining the company's goodwill. Also, many people are affected from their life due to losing their jobs. Like for example, they need to have commitment to raise money to take care of their families, to pay necessities and electric and water bills every month, or even to pay the settlement for loan. Therefore, this is concluded that people are highly dependent on their jobs to fulfill their financial needs of their families as well as for themselves. And naturally, most employees would fear of losing their jobs because of whistleblowing action. So, other than that, a whistleblower would ruin his job status and reputation that has been built for many years in the company. And it could lead to the effort being vain or could lead to rumors that he is a traitor of the company. By getting charged, the image of the company will definitely highly affected greatly and causing a chain reaction where business will sharply decline. This will blame on the whistleblower for ruining the company's status, and he or she will face the possibility of hatred from his superiors and colleagues due to putting such negative impacts on the company itself. Oftentimes, a whistleblower are secured under the law from employees seeking revenge, but in many cases it doesn't actually guarantee of further emotional well-being for the whistleblower. Like for example, the hate action toward the whistleblower can lead to a person being treated unfairly, and even the other employees may disagree with his action and can lead to a serious breakdown of trust and friendship on him. This will lead to a very poor working relationship amongst employees as well as for the person in the workplace. Thus, once a person labeled as a whistleblower, he or she may have a risk to be seen as a bad person to a company. And that's it for me. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Limam Mazmi, and today, as my part, I want to talk about employee and individual ethical obligation in a face of ethical violation. Supervising obligation, supervisor related to the individual in the organization who is assigned the duty and authority to organize and control the mission. Individual must learn a few skills in order to be a great supervisor: leadership skill, listening skill, and analytical thinking skill, technological skill, and time management skill are all expected to be successful boss. Supervisor is faced with the apparent ethical breach on the job. The supervisor is required to report the ethical breach to upper management. This is because it is the supervisor duty to ensure that any legal breach occur and reported to higher management, which include the board of director management, the chief executive officer, and several other individuals. The supervisor must be firm in reinforcing worker control. This is to ensure that employees do not make the same error and dishonor conduct when doing their duty in the future for the sake of the greater goods. And next is employee obligation. Employees should be mindful of what is going on at their workplace right now. An employee encounter any issue or circumstance including ethical violation, he or she may take the necessary corrective step to confront and resolve the issue. Employee confront with a scenario or the dispute affecting other workers or customer can promptly notify their boss after weighing the advantage of speaking up against the possible risk of speaking up. Employees should say the truth of what they saw and hear, and not embellish the initial accident account. Employee is confronted with the ethic of first committed by their boss, subordinate or senior administrator who has broken certain corporate law. Employee can meet with upper management by sending a structured email to them. That's all my part.
I'm Lee Tianfu, UDE190173. So now I'm presenting about the conclusion. Ethical training sessions should be undertaken to acquire employees with ethical dilemmas uniquely. Employees should understand that they must be responsible in making accusation of the mistake. Once someone labels as whistleblower, someone might be retiration by superior, harsh maltreatment by other employees, and half of being hired at a new company in the future. The employee should always be responsibility, integrity, fair, and consider the pros and cons before taking action. This because the ethics framework set the expected standards of a good behavior in the workplace. Lastly, ethics provide an accurate overview of the business to understand the extent to which its business complies with the ethics principle and the extent to which it satisfies internal and external stakeholders. In short, the concept of business ethics should be implemented by management and followed by employees, as well as with due consideration by customer. Company can achieve long-term success through business ethics. That's all.
Thanks for lending your ears. We already done our presentations and thank you very much. Wish you have a nice day.